This is my digital citizenship presentation for the spring 2025 semester. My name is Selena Bentley, and I am a 7th grade English language arts teacher at Scoggins Middle School.
We started this process with an online safety assessment.
Looking at Scoggins demographically is important to know that the school has a current enrollment of 809 students. While our student population is a majority Caucasian, we have an array of culturally diverse students. Almost half the enrolled students are identified as economically disadvantaged. The online safety assessment identified concerns with leaving a digital footprint, digital citizenship, and online safety. I focused on improving the students' knowledge of online safety while also working in the other areas with the lessons. My action plan begins with the surveys of administration and leadership, then staff, and then guardians and caretakers of students. From there, the data would be used for an online safety team to plan a course of action. The created courses would begin with pre-tests to assess the prior knowledge of students, lessons, and then post-tests to measure their growth in the understanding of online safety.
6 mini lessons were created and implemented in my English language arts classes.
The social responsibility lesson started with students reading about scenarios of other students functioning as a part of a digital community. Groups discussed how they would handle each scenario, and then we discussed it as a class. We looked at the actual event and the consequences that evolve from these real-world scenarios. The empathy lesson started with a discussion to help students understand empathy. This is a hard concept for middle school students to connect to the actual emotions and actions. After this discussion, groups once again discussed and planned a course of action with mock scenarios. These were discussed. We compared the funny way to handle it, but also what that would mean to the person on the receiving end. For staying safe and ethical, we took notes. Some students took their own notes and others completed closed notes. I wanted to ensure everyone was able to participate in the discussion as we took notes and that they would be able to review them later. Next, we discussed real-world examples of online safety breaches and ethical dilemmas. We assorted the events as ethical or security breach, then discussed possible solutions. This lesson was completed with a booklet over the concepts and examples. Online legalities shocked a number of students. Who knew there were so many laws surrounding images and videos? Who knew copyright applied to TikTok, Instagram, and other social media sites? That was a huge discussion in terms of how to use media without infringing on copyright laws. The students even made a list of locations to get media for projects and sorted them by fair use and Creative Commons. Dodge the Digital Drama was an exciting conversation in a 7th grade classroom. Everyone had an opinion and experience about digital drama. However, that was not the drama we were focusing on. We talked about safety and how to safely manage their personal data online. The class broke into groups and did a jigsaw read of an article about navigating online. Each group shared their findings and created a don't-do list for their peers. When we talked about digital identity, students acknowledged they could see how that is a completely different community where they are a part of. We discussed how anything they put in the virtual world can be traced back to them, always. We went through the instances of me being able to track their search history and the technology department being able to do a deeper search. We completed another jigsaw activity with an article about being mindful of what they put into the digital world, whether it be pictures or words. Next, we looked at scenarios and predicted the outcomes. Students were mortified at the outcomes, but some could make personal connections to either their choices or the choices of siblings. We extended this lesson with public service announcements. Groups made posters to make their peers aware of the importance of protecting their digital identity, as well as be aware of their digital footprints.
It was a little difficult to work these lessons in with our densely packed ELA schedule, but the topics were important and very relevant for the age group. Overall, I learned that middle school students had no idea about digital citizenship. This concept was new to me, but the elements I worked with students on were semi-common sense. However, my 7th grade students were shocked but thankful we completed these lessons. They learned about the importance of protecting themselves, not only from the possibility of meeting a stranger somewhere, but about the way they present themselves online. I believe I would implement the lessons at the beginning of the year, once a week, so we can focus on revisiting and monitoring those skills throughout the school year. This is important for their digital use here at school, but also at home where there is less structure and monitoring of their devices. I feel like I've grown as a leader and a mentor in digital citizenship as a role model for my students. I also have presented myself as an adult educated in technology. So it opened a path to a trusted adult for them to talk with about concerns and ask questions. That to me is more than I could have hoped for. Their trust in knowing I'm here for them and will help however I can.
This project has been very helpful in establishing my thoughts, concerns, and opinions about digital citizenship. I think of myself as almost being technology savvy, but this course has helped me to add safe and educated to the list of qualifications with technology.